Welcome, each and every one of you, to the sixth and final episode of Teacher Talks. Guys, can you believe that we have had five episodes and today being our last and sixth one? My name is Warda Petersen, the producer of this podcast show, hosted under the auspices of PeacJam South Africa. Teacher Talks is a podcast show that is designed to showcase our key issue areas at PeacJam, to start a conversation and walk away with a way to bring about positive change. What are these 10 key issue areas, you may ask, and why are they so important? The 10 key issue areas PeacJam uses to guide change within the community. Our philosophy with the key issue areas is that if we were to achieve all 10 goals to their maximum potential, we would achieve world peace. Our Peace Jam ambassadors and Peace Jam mentors and leaders have brought about positive and impactful change within these 10 key issue areas. The key issue area we'll be getting into this evening is human rights for all. Tonight, we are joined by the Western Cape Children's Commissioner, Christina Nomdo. Welcome, Christina. We are so grateful that you could join us this evening.
Well, no need to make me sound like a rock star, Warda.
But you could have also the rock
I'm
star
just
to
a normal
children. Come
person,
on. No, 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 no. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here with you. I didn't wear my superhero cape today, but it's in the wash. Like normal superheroes also have to do laundry. So
Of course.
I'm not a rock star, but I am a superhero for children.
Definitely, I love that. I love that. And just speaking of superheroes and your role, with kids, tell us a bit about who Christina is, about your role and your responsibilities as the Western Cape Children's Commissioner, aka superhero to these children.
Well, yeah, as I said, it's an honor to serve the children of the province. Christina is like an old woman already, but she loves to hang out with children, and in a good way,
Love
not
it.
in the bad
Love it.
way.
So hip.
And I really enjoy being that bridge actually between the adults and the children. I think that's the simplest way to put my job. I'm the bridge
Yeah.
between children and
Love
young
it.
people and adults. I'm the bridge between grassroots and community and the higher ups, the decision
Yeah.
makers. And
Yeah.
so I really enjoy that role. I've been doing children's rights and youth work for 30 years already.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been around the block, man, yo. But
Wow.
I
So
have
you've been around the
understandings
globe.
to the content flats, and we just studied hard and took the opportunities that we were given. And here we find ourselves in a role that is the first ever in the history of the country. We don't have another
Wow.
children's commissioner yet, and we now find out that we're one of the few children's commissioners office in the continent of Africa. So
Wow.
we are, like I said, privileged and honored to play this role.
No, that's amazing. Honestly, you definitely are a superhero. I'm sorry. Like that is your new nickname, aka like superhero for kids, like literally. And then, just just before we continue, I would like to open the comment section up for anyone. Welcome to all of our viewers. Let us know where you are dialing in from, where you're watching from, and say hello. And if you have any questions for the superhero Christina, do not hesitate to pop them in the comment section. If you have any questions for me or PeacJam South Africa, we are here and we are live with the sixth episode. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the call, the key issue area that we will be discussing this evening is human rights for all. Now, human rights are basic rights that belong to all of us simply because we are human. They embody key values in our society, such as fairness, dignity, equality, as well as respect. Most importantly, these rights give us power and enable us to speak up and to challenge poor treatment from a public authority. Christina, in your opinion, what rights does every human have? You can name a few.
Well, we have the South African Constitution, and that
Hmm.
is the highest law in the country. And that's really where all our rights are documented. So, Chapter
Yeah.
2 of the Constitution tells us that we have rights to equality, that we have freedom and security of the person, we have the right to life, human dignity, privacy, freedom of religion, belief, and opinion, of expression, assembly, demonstration, picket, petition, freedom of association, political rights, citizenship rights, movement freedoms, freedoms of trade. There's labor relations rights, environmental rights, property rights, housing rights, healthcare, food, water, social security, and my personal favorite, in Section 28, we have special rights for children. So I'm going to leave it there
Wow.
because that's my favorite. Although there are more rights in
Yes.
the Bill of Rights, but I encourage
Yes,
viewers to go and
definitely.
read the Constitution.
Yes, I think that you kind of have covered the next question, but we can maybe just spin it around a bit because the next question that I wanted to pose to you was what are a few of the most important human rights? So for example, like education, like I think that is one of the really key important human rights that we should all be able to have accessibility to. What are your opinions on the most important human rights being made available?
Well, the most important human rights are also, I can't suck these things out of my thumb. I must go to the authority, and the authority is the
Yes,
Constitution.
yes,
So,
yes.
Section 1 of the Constitution says the most important rights are human dignity, the achievement
Mhm.
of equality, and the
Mhm.
advancement of human rights and freedoms. That's the most important. That's what
Mm,
everybody
mm,
should have. And I
mm,
think that's the cornerstone of our democracy, but it's the rights that we struggle to achieve. We really, as
mm.
people, struggle to
So
be
true.
acknowledged and accepted as ourselves, as equal to others, as worthy. So that's the core of our rights struggle. What you're talking about in terms of education, there are generations of rights. So civil and political
Mm,
rights, like the vote, socioeconomic rights such as
mm.
education, and all those rights that give us well-being. And then there's environmental and cultural rights, which are third
Of
generation rights,
course.
sort of newer rights that people are fighting for in relation to climate change, for example. So we have a whole family of rights, and that needs to be achieved together. You can't
Yes, definitely.
achieve
That are
one right
connected.
without the
Yes,
other. They are
exactly.
all interconnected and they're indivisible.
Exactly.
You can't pull them apart and say, okay, I will give you a right to a house, but I can't give you water. I can't give you,
Mm. They
the,
go
the
hand in
basics that you
hand.
need to
Yes.
create well-being. So the value and the purpose of rights is to create well-being in society.
Yes. No, definitely. And just going back to what you said about one of the things that we struggle is being able to be ourselves completely, being able to be ourselves and being accepted as the person that we are or that we want to be, especially in the the community, this I mean society. Society has all these stigmas, these stereotypes, these what success should look like, or what the perfect life should look like, what happiness should look like, what you should have. I mean, when some people think success, and it's like you kind of complain them because when you open social media, when you open Instagram, when you open Facebook,
Mm,
you've got
mm, mm,
all these things screaming at you. I mean, fancy car, flashy suits, flashy, and that is where most of our youth get sucked in, and that is where they lose themselves because they are brainwashed to believe that
mm,
they need this is what success looks like. This is what being having. I mean, there's this thing, and we touched on this when we had a four-part series called hashtag Youth Matters. I mean, you attended a few of the sessions, and there was the one with age, societal, and social media pressures. It's like when you this certain age, you need to be married, you need to have a house, you need to, all these things that are put on the the youth, that haven't even
mm, mm,
discovered themselves as a person, but having to be something for someone else. And I think that that is so important, and that's definitely something that we really need to look at, and we really need to sort of kind of like just take a step back and just focus on being yourself, because in the same breath
mm,
it's like it's society is telling you you should be yourself, but then they're telling us this is what beauty is, this is what for example a model should look like, or this is what, so it's kind of like in the same breath it's like you're pulling and pushing, because it's like on the one hand you're telling us to to be a certain thing, and then on the other it's like, are you still there, Christina?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here. I think you make excellent points. This thing about human rights and human dignity is about personhood and identity.
Mm,
And
mm,
we often focus less on what is inside of ourselves as a person,
mm.
and then we want to focus on what's on the outside. What kind of clothes do
Exactly.
we wear? What kind
Exactly,
of
the
car do we drive?
appearances.
And if you
Definitely.
don't have those things, people say you're less of a person now. So
Exactly,
somebody
you're
who
not
finds
worthy.
themselves living on the street is now less of a person. Somebody
Mm,
who hasn't reached 18 years old is less of a person. They're less of a human. So all of a sudden, there's a debate on, does everybody have the same type of rights, or should those who are
mm,
richer have more rights? And
mm.
that's not the way society should be going. We should be looking to the core of a person, who you are, and your contribution to society in making society a better place, not all this
Exactly.
fluff that we've got going on.
Exactly. Exactly. I think one of the things also, where it comes with diversity, for example, instead of outcasting people for their differences, why not celebrate them for it? Kind of just like change that mindset of, instead of making someone feel less, or someone feeling less worthy because they are different, or because they think differently, or so it's kind of just making that mind shift between how can we make something that is a negative into a positive. So I think that's definitely something that I feel strongly about.
And the youth have really pushed us in the last kind of decade or so. In the last few
Yeah,
years, the youth has told us, you are going to have to accept me for who I am. And they've put their sexual
exactly.
identity on the forefront of who they are. And they've said, I am part of the LGBTQI community. Accept me for
Mm,
who I am.
mm,
From the teens start expressing this very comfortably from a young age already, and I celebrate that. I think that's
me
just
too.
marvelous, but
Me too.
you do have in society those don't who don't accept them. And I went
Mm,
to the Bito municipality near the Eastern Cape last week, and teens tell me they still struggle for their parents to accept who
to
they
accept
are.
them.
So this is very, very sad for me, when you don't find acceptance from the people who you
Who
love
really,
most.
yes. I think that is and we spoke about poverty on alleviating extreme poverty. I think it was on the third episode of Teacher Talks, and it it was, we broke down poverty. The speaker that we had was Tasneem Abrams, and she explored poverty to, to not just at face value, but also being deprived
Mm,
of affection, being deprived of, that attention, that refreshing of mind, positivity, love, nurture, and not just materialistic things,
mm,
or
mm,
nourishment,
mm,
and that for me was so amazing, because it's so true, Christina, just like you said it.
mm,
People, we look to our parents that has raised us to be. We look to them, kids look to them for love and affection. And when parents don't accept us, or when parents aren't accepting to the person that we are, it makes it very hard. But like you just said, with youth really taking a stand, I'm so proud of them. Like, honestly, like, I think if
mm,
anything, like what has come from COVID, if anything possible, like positive, I think is that everyone was just like, you know what, this is me, this is who I am. I'm gonna be more of who I am, and I think that that is the most beautiful thing that actually came out of a world pandemic. I'm
mm,
not too sure what your thoughts are, on that. But I think for me despite all the negative stigma, and all the the losing of one's parents, or which is absolutely tragic. And if and anyone who has lost, who is watching the show right now, who has lost a parent, who has lost a family member or a friend, our sincerest condolences, and we truly hope that you are okay and that you are coping. And I just want to go to the comment section, so we've missed a bit. So Bree, welcome. Bree is from PeacJam South East. Welcome. And then we've got Sadiq. Sadiq Daniels, which is actually one of the monitors, isn't it? Yes. Hi. Come on, he's supporting you. See, there's one of your superhero kids. Yes. Welcome. Welcome, Sadiq. Awesome. Awesome.
Sadiq
See,
is one.
you got
Sadiq is really
fans.
one of the strong leaders that we have in the
Yes.
Child Government Monitors Group. Thank you very much. Sadiq is also very famous. He's a radio journalist himself. You know, he's a radio presenter
Wow.
himself. So he's a very famous guy. I'm honored to be associated with him.
Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. You guys are both very modest. I love it. Awesome. Just getting back to the human rights. Human rights being a set of principles concerned with equality and fairness. Christina, why is equality so important in your opinion?
I think it's this. The point of equality is that we accept people for who we are, and that we don't make people more important because of, um, like we were speaking before, how much money they have, how many material goods they have. They are not more important as a person than the next person who has less. They have equal rights to dignity. They have equal personhood in our society.
Mm,
And equality is also a matter in discrimination. So non-discrimination is a big principle of human rights. And we often
yes.
find discrimination of people who are differently abled. We find discrimination of the LGBTI community. We find discrimination on mental health issues. We find so many reasons to create divisions amongst ourselves. Like the Charter for Human Rights internationally came about because of people reflecting on their behavior during a world war and saying, this is not humanity. This is our
Oh,
worst
Christina,
selves.
we're losing you there. Apologies, Christina. Do you mind repeating that? We lost you for a bit. You went like completely robotic. Like we didn't hear you. Like you were like,
So we
he was
had,
like, then the Matrix.
I was underwater. Can you hear me well now?
Oh, oh, still, I think. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you. I can see you
Okay, there
well.
we go. We on. We've got it. There we go. There we go. We are
Okay.
back, guys.
So I was saying that human rights conventions came about because we discovered our worst selves in war. And then we said, let's never do that again. Let's never do that to our fellow man again, and woman, right? So, um, so we decided to create this charter to create dignity and equality.
Yeah.
But we're still failing. We are still failing today to create equality in our society. Wouldn't you agree?
I 100% agree with you, Christina. Honestly, like you have put all of that in a nutshell. It definitely is something that we are still struggling with. I mean, just I think last was it last week? the fourth episode. I think it's so amazing that I can like refer back to like the different episodes in terms of how like these topics like intertwine. Like it's so crazy. Okay, before I continue, let's go over to the presenter that is so famous as per the superhero on the screen. So Sadiq says that he is honored to work with Christina. She is a phenomenal lady. 100% agree with you, Sadiq. Honestly, like I couldn't have said it any better. So yes, Christina, you need to start accepting and embracing these compliments because that is who you are. Okay, so you need to say yes, thank you so much, and speak it into existence and manifest all of these. you know, I think
What must I do?
to
Must
be
I say
100%.
thank you? Thank you.
Exactly. You must say thank you. You must take a deep breath and you must manifest and you must just take in what it is that these people are singing your praises to. Because I think, and this is something, going back to selling ourselves short and going back to not knowing our worth as human beings and what we are worth to other people and how we impact others' lives, is that we are so quick to give others congratulations, others we are so proud of you, others well done, and others love. But when it comes to us and when we achieve something, we're just like, it's water off like duck's back. It's like we don't, it's like what, like we need to also celebrate ourselves. And I think that that is so important. And just going back to the topic that we spoke about on the fourth episode, which was advancing women and children. And we spoke about females having that confidence, having that I am worthy, I'm capable, doing those affirmations. Because at the end of the day, like we are so quick to give everyone else love, but when it comes to us, we fall short. So, this is a 101 that you need to accept this amazing praises and this amazing compliments that your monitors are giving you. These are people that you work with, so they know exactly how you are, and so do I. So, a job well done, and that you continue doing. We are tremendously proud of you and we are so grateful. We are so grateful that not only are you with us this evening, but for what you are doing within the province. So thank you so very much.
I will say thank you, but I will also say that, my big message is around how we create hierarchies of power. And this has got to do
Mm,
with our debate around equality. We
yes.
put people on a pedestal because of a title that they have. Tomorrow I won't
Mm,
have this title, but I will still
mm.
be Christina. So
Like, you'll
so
still be the
I
person you
encourage
are.
even the monitors, everybody who meets me, I encourage them to call me Christina. The title
Mm,
is a different thing. The title is a responsibility to serve. The title is not
I
me.
like that.
The title is not me. I am Christina. The title is a responsibility to serve. So I deliberately break down those power hierarchies because
Mm,
then people think that they need to treat me in a different way. And I don't want to be treated in a different way from the next person. I want to just be treated
mm.
as a regular person. And I want people to be able to give me feedback and
Yes.
say, hey, Christine, you're not doing your best today. You need to pull up your socks.
Yes.
So I think it's
Yes.
all in that kind of spirit that I say to myself,
Mm.
don't let the title go to your head, girlfriend. Tomorrow you won't have this title.
Exactly. Yes. No, definitely. I love the whole what did you say now? You said I love the title is there for you to serve. I think that's so beautiful. And that's I feel like if we were as a working industry, especially people in power, if we were to think that way, I think that a lot of environments and work environments would be so much more, people would feel like a team. people would feel included, people would feel a sense of equality, going back to equality, going back to these rights, going back to, all those things that we mentioned. So thank you so much for mentioning that. And what you said is just so powerful. Your title is there for you to serve. It is your role and responsibility, not necessarily the reflection of the person that you are as a whole person, which I think is so beautiful. I mean, I couldn't have said it in well enough. Okay, so our famous presenter in the comments says, "Well said, Christina. That's how I know you. Very humble and flexible with the monitors. I always feel comfortable talking to Christina." Now, that is one of the most important things when it comes to our youth is comfortability and having a sense of they can relate, they can confide in someone, they can, and it's not easy for everyone to open up, but if you do have that person, I think it's so very essential and it's so necessary. So thank you again for being that type of person, and thank you, Sadiq, for being so engaging in the comment section. Whoever else is watching, please do not hesitate to ask Christina any questions, or myself for that matter. And then, just with these human rights are the same for all people everywhere, men and women, young and old, rich and poor, regardless of our background, where we live, and what we think of and what we believe. That is what makes human rights universal. In your opinion, Christina, what human right is most violated?
Sure. I think in South Africa, we have so many rights that are violated. We strive for a human rights culture, but I said we struggle to give that respect to each other. For me, rights equal respect, mutual respect
Mm,
from person to person. We struggle even in that interpersonal acknowledgement of each other as worthy, as equal, as dignified. We struggle on the personal level, we struggle on the societal level to give everybody the tools they need to be able to live a good life. And we see this, in the concept, it's described in the concept of poverty, but it's really a violation
mm,
of many, 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 many rights when people have to go without basic goods. For us in South Africa, we would be remiss if we don't talk about the right to bodily integrity and freedom of
mm,
person. We struggle because we are violated, our bodies are violated daily.
mm.
You know, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So our that we are violated physically, emotionally, in our bodies, and that leaves scars that that we carry across generations. That
Wow.
trauma of being violated is one of the biggest things that we really we have a lot to answer for in terms of the kind of childhoods we create in our society. People say children are the future. Yeah, they are the future. Maybe they will outlive us, but they are also the present. And it's
Exactly.
the value and the value we place on children and what we give to them today while they are children
Mm,
that will
mm.
determine the character of our society in the future. So the childhoods we
Perfect.
have are going to determine what character we have for our society in the future. So that's why I
Definitely.
always, I'm a human rights activist, but children's rights, that really gets my passions going.
I can see and I love it. I honestly, like I always say, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And I always say that it's so important. It's so important to rear, or to be able to teach your kids like really core values, and the dignity, the respect for one another. And that is what I love so much about PeacJam South Africa, is that they have these amazing, like, award winning curriculums and programs. And oh, like, literally, when I started with them, it was so amazing. Like, I fell in love with just how they handle everything and what they teach us, and just how they go about creating change makers and peacemakers, and holding peace and within yourself first, and with others around you. I think that and I can still remember clearly in the interview when I was a workshop facilitator at the leadership camp in February. That was one of the things that truly stood out for me, is that when I was at that camp, is that there was a sense of everyone was rooting for you. There was a sense of, we didn't judge this next person. There was no, you always get like that weird vibes, or but there was nothing. There was complete nothingness. We could be our complete self, and our. I just think for me that is so important, and I just love what you said. You said we struggle on a societal level to give people the tools to thrive. That is so powerful, and it's so true. And you mentioned past traumas, that plays such a big role, and I believe that it's still currently existing, within us even today. And sometimes we it goes undissolved, it goes undiscussed, and it builds up and it molds us, and it strips away pieces of us. And I think that is so powerful. But I think for me, like, the saying of the night from you is definitely, we struggle on a societal level to give people the tools to thrive. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I also, like, as I mentioned before, with and you also mentioned the different rights. The right to education is an example of economic, social and cultural right. One of the main differences between these two groups of rights is that in the case of civil and political rights, governments must make sure that they or any other group are not denying people access to their rights. Whereas in relation to economic, societal, and cultural rights, governments must take active steps to ensure that these rights are being fulfilled. Around the world, child rights are a topic of concern in every country. Every child, regardless of age, of race, gender, wealth, or birthplace, deserve not to just live, but to thrive. Using that word that you just mentioned, to thrive, being so important and so impactful. Yet millions of children's basic rights are denied, and their childhoods are stolen from them, by abuse or slavery. Christina, how are children deprived of their rights?
So, we in child rights practice, we say children have three P's of rights. They need to be protected from harm. They need to be provided with the basics for well-being, and they need to participate in every decision that affects their life. So it's a balance between their welfare and their autonomy. And this is what we don't like about the child rights debate. Everybody is on board when we say we must protect children. But where we start to go our separate ways is where we start to say that children are capable of
Mm,
decision making. They're
mm,
capable of having their own opinions. They're capable of expressing views. They're capable of changing the world. They're capable. We don't want to recognize that capability in childhood. We
mm,
prefer to talk about them as change agents in the future. But for me, the biggest change agents are the children of today, because
right now.
they, have to face so much discrimination just on the basis of age. So I always say, children are humans too, because everybody is willing to say, I'm a human rights defender, but then children fall outside of that. Why? Why do children fall outside of being human? We enter into rights from the day we are born. From the day we are
Mm.
born. That's when we accede to rights. And so we can't wait for 18 years to be like full rights holders. As we
Mm.
grow, we gain more capability, and we must be given more acknowledgement of that capability
Mm.
and given more uh,
Wow.
of a space to practice that independence, so that when you reach a certain age, like for example the big debate at the moment is vaccines of teenagers, right?
Mm.
People are saying, uh, why are teenagers getting vaccinated at 12 without their parents' consent? Because you, as a parent, should have built the skill set within your child by the age of 12 to be able to
Age
practice
of
making
12
good decisions, you know. And the decision making
decisions.
power of children just graduates as they age. We cannot wait till people are 18. Now we accept them as capable. We must accept them as capable and build that skills so that they can be change agents today.
Like, I didn't even know. There's nothing that I can say to what you just said. Like, there is nothing. I am blown away, like, mentally, and just like, oh my goodness, my mind is literally mind blown, because everything that you have just said is so true and it's so evident. Like, we are seeing it. We are seeing this right in front of us. And I think, and this is something again we spoke about in the other topic, is that is that sometimes parents don't want to have, it's not that they it's not that I wouldn't say they don't want to have these harsh this these big decisions, and discussions with kids. But I think a lot of the times parents are just they just say no, no, no. But instead of like, why don't you tell your child, this is why not, I would advise you to, like, not because this is the consequences, or because then you kind of like build that trust, and it's kind of just like, what, you are trusting me as you're giving me this sort of this open space for me to comprehend what it is that you were saying, and not just let me hear no, 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 no. Because the thing is, a child could grow up and take two different paths. Could either be the one where it's like completely rebellious, you know what, my mother says no, and everyone else's parents are like taking, like, letting them do whatever it is that they want to do, da, 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 so I'm going to rebel, right? So it could be your child could go that path. Then your child could also go the path of, you know what, like, my mom says no, da da da, she must have a reason. But it's like, why don't leave that up to your child? You know what I mean? Like, don't leave that up to your kid, whereas you can prevent it, or you can literally give them the tools to make those conscious decisions when they are at those ages, when they are at, and talk to them about things that your parents might have not spoken to you about because they felt weird, or but these are things that kids are being bombarded with anyway on social media. So it's kind of like, wouldn't you want to have that talk with your child? Do you want your child to just go and see it, or go and experience it out on the streets, or on social media? Do you not want to have that open connection with your kid? And I think that for me is such a it's barriers that need to be broken down. And we have 20 minutes to go, so we're not going to get into that, but that's definitely something that you and we can definitely speak about it another time. And I definitely think we should take it, to a different another platform, perhaps on 15 minutes to go. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna like put that on pause for now. You see, Christina, you and I like get so passionate about these things, and when we get passionate about it, what happens? Our mouth doesn't stop talking. Okay, cool. So let me just quickly have a look at the comment section. So Nadima said, I think this was to the one of the the answers to the question, which is child nutrition. Thank you for that, Nadima. I 100% agree with you. You know, it definitely is, and also being deprived of that physical affection, that emotional attachment. You know, that attention from parents, from people that have brought them into this world. You know, so that's definitely a ones. And then Sadiq says, yes, agree, Christina. When we make a wrong decision, we must learn from it. And what is the best way to learn is to make a mistake or is to do something wrong. You know, it's like success, for example, or it's like if you're not going to get something right if you don't fail at it or if you don't try. So it's you're not, you know, like there might be times where you do try something and it's amazing the first time, great. But then there's going to be times where it's like, oh, you know, but I there's something that I always say: the only way for you to know is for you to go through it and for you to
Mm,
experience it. So it's kind of, you know,
mm,
it's that sense of only you will know if something is for you if you've been through it, or if it's not for you if you've experienced it. So I definitely think that parents should start making that proactive decision to definitely, you know, say to the kids that you are at this specific age, and we want to have these open conversations with you, and we want to prepare you. You know, we want to really rear you in the best way that we possibly can. And I'm not saying that parents aren't doing that. I think some just struggle in terms of maybe their parents previously, you know, their parents maybe didn't have these discussions with them, and it's 100% understandable. I know that sometimes it is different to make a shift from like the older generation to right now, you know, with how modern and open things are now, like completely like I mean, you obviously can say that. And I think that is so amazing that you are a bridge between that. So that is definitely a discussion that you and I can have at another time, but right now we are running out of time. Um, so okay, cool. So then, you know, just going back to the whole Human Rights Day and what took place on the 21st of March, which is Human Rights Day. You know, that day back in 1960 began with the demonstrations in the township of Sharpeville against the apartheid government's past laws, which restricted the rights of the black that day and the black people in the country. It began with the deaths of 69 unarmed civilians at the hands of 300 police who fired into the protesting crowd. Why do we celebrate Human Rights Day in South Africa? It commemorates one of the two darkest days in the history of apartheid: the Sharpeville massacre of 1960 that I just mentioned, as well as June 16th in 1976, the day that started as a protest by school children in Soweto against being taught in Afrikaans, which they regarded as the language of the oppressor, and ended in an even bloodier massacre in which at least 176 and possibly several hundred children were killed by the police. June 16th is also celebrated today as Youth Day. And I just wanted to read a few quotes with you all, and share this with you, Christina. I think these are so powerful, and you know, it's really you know, I just want to go back to the comment section. So Sadiq says we have the right to voice our opinions. The Constitution states we have the right to freedom of speech. Definitely 100% agree with you, Sadiq. And you know, don't ever feel that you do not have a voice. Always stand in your truth, stand in your power. If I can say anything to youth, is that, you know, really be who you are, and be loud, be proud, you know, really stand for what it is. I always say that, you know, as long as you aren't hurting someone else, do whatever it is that sets your soul on fire. And you know, that is something I truly try to live by. Christina, can you still hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Okay, perfect. You're awfully quiet on that side. Hey, I'm not used to this.
You're not asking me anything. I can't just talk over you.
Definitely. Yes, so as I mentioned, like these a few quotes that I wanted to quote with you guys. So John F. Kennedy says, "The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened." That is so powerful. The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. And then Frederick Douglass says, "Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave." Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. Then we've got Martin Luther King, which is actually one of my absolute favorites. Um, a, a right delayed is a right denied. So a right delayed is a right denied. And then lastly, Nelson Mandela: "To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humility," which is so true. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. And that is by Nelson Mandela. Christina, just going back to, and this is something that you kind of had mentioned, that you kind of do, you do have that space. So I think that you have already answered this question. But it was, what are the challenges that the children you work with experience when it comes to expressing themselves? Do you have a platform for them to do so? I know that you mentioned, and this was just in our chats, that you have every Wednesday you've got sessions with kids.
Yes, so, from the very first day when I took office, 1st June 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, uh, I already
Mhm.
had children who were working alongside me. So I started
Okay.
calling them the child government monitors. And the way you become a child government monitor is very simple. You are under 18 and you live in the Western Cape, and you send Christina a WhatsApp to say, "Hi, I'm
Mm.
interested in children's rights." And then we talk with your parents, we get their permissions, and you become a child government monitor. And now I have around
Wow.
50 child government monitors that I work with across the province. And as I mentioned earlier, I
Wow.
go and look for them where they live. I go to places where they live. So last year in October, I went to up to the Northern Cape border to a place called
Yes.
Matsikama. And one of our very strong leaders
Yes.
come from Witpoort in Matsikama. He has to walk a kilometer up a hill to get wife or to get the signal to send me a WhatsApp. But that
Mm.
doesn't stop him from talking to me every day. And so, because he's such a wonderful
Wow.
activist, I invited him to
Yes.
come this year on the 14th of May to be part of our presentation team of 10 child government monitors that presented to
Mhm.
National Parliament on the new Children's Act.
Wow.
So we have discussions on a weekly basis. We educate each other. I throw my old dinosaur ideas. Sometimes my dinosaur ideas are more progressive than their ideas, I must tell you, because I'm a certain type of
Dinosaur
dinosaur.
ideas.
I'm a
Oh, I
certain
love
dinosaur
it.
that lives into the future, not on the past. So we engage each other, we debate, and then they create position statements. Sometimes they give me a
Mm.
collage, sometimes they give me artwork, sometimes they give me an infographic, sometimes they give me a poem, and they express themselves in that way. All of this is available on our
Yes.
website. If you just Google Western Cape Children's
Wow.
Commissioner, you will get to our website and you will see all these conversations we are having with children. And you will also see reports of
Yes.
our workshops in rural areas with children.
Wow, I think that's absolutely amazing. I like you just I have no words for you. Like you've literally just blown my mind, right? And Like I have no words. I'm literally going to leave here feeling so empowered, and I'm so glad that you are the conclusion, the end of the Teacher Talks series. I'm so glad that we ended it with you, again. We are so grateful for your presence tonight, and your words of encouragement. And speaking of encouragement, do you have any final words for our audience watching, for kids that are maybe watching?
Yeah, I think that, I'm going to use your words because you say we are one. You have to stand in your truth as children. Stand in your truth and
Mm,
find that
yes.
trusted adult who will guide and support you. That's actually a parent's job, right? To guide and support children. That's their role, that's their
Yes.
responsibility, to give them what they need to thrive and to guide and support. And then also just to come and work with my office as children, come and share your knowledge with me. I want to hear what you living through. I want to hear what you're experiencing, so that together we can problem solve to change the world.
Yes.
I say again, the title of Commissioner for Children is a responsibility to serve. Thank you.
Love it. Oh, wonderfully said. Guys, I don't know about you, but I am leaving this session extremely touched, extremely impacted. I am again, Christina, so tremendously grateful for this powerful session that we have had. And Christina, if you don't mind, could I share your WhatsApp number in the comment section? Christina, are you still there?
I
Okay,
am.
perfect.
Yes, my
Um,
WhatsApp number is good. Please feel free to WhatsApp me.
Perfect.
It's your direct link with the commissioner. How more direct can you get than WhatsApp?
Exactly, guys. Direct
So,
messenger.
Sadiq,
I mean,
Sadiq must be the
yeah.
next presenter on your show. Can I just make that request, please?
Def- Definitely, Sadiq. You and I will definitely work out something. Definitely, we will collaborate. I will reach out to. I mean, but I'm gonna see him anyway. At the Peace Slam, so I will meet him there. I'll have the privilege of meeting him next week, Saturday. Super excited. Peace Jam is hosting a Peace Slam, and that is taking place on the 6th of June. June. See, June, it was meant to be in June, guys, because of Youth Month, but it's actually, we had to postpone it due to COVID. So we are having it on the 6th of November, which is next weekend. Extremely excited. It's going to be impactful. We're having different schools, different students, RCL students, SRC members, really students that are in leadership roles that really want to be the positive change that this world so desperately needs. Again, Christina, we are tremendously grateful for you. To everyone who was watching tonight, thank you so much. I want to wrap this up, and we actually have a video to share with you all. But again, Christina, thank you so very much. We we are so grateful to have had you on the sixth and the final episode of Teacher Talks. It was an absolute pleasure having you online this evening, as well as hearing your thoughts and understanding on the topics that we discussed. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You must have a lovely evening, and you must stay blessed, and we will definitely be in contact, and I will also contact Sadiq as well. So thank you so much. Have a lovely evening, Christina. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Okay, perfect, guys. I don't know about you, but as I mentioned, extremely powerful. That is the Western Cape Children's Commissioner, Christina Nomdo. For anyone who would like to reach her, her contact number is in our comment section. And then Shamila Ojal has said, powerful ladies. Thank you so much, Shamila, for just always constantly watching. She has been watching since the get-go. So thank you, Shamila. And then, yes, as I mentioned, Christina's details are in the comment section. If anyone would like to reach out to her, please, as you guys saw, she is a very open and honest woman and would love and appreciate those who would like to reach out to her. So, as I mentioned, it is the final episode, and I just want to say a big thank you to absolutely everyone who has watched Teacher Talks from day one up until now. I know that some of you couldn't make absolutely all of the sessions, but to those who watched at least one of them, we are tremendously grateful. And you could have been absolutely anywhere, but you have chosen to be a part of the powerful discussions. And thank you so much, PeacJam South Africa, for hosting and we for hosting this entire set of series. Like we are so tremendously grateful for PeacJam South Africa. So thank you. And as a close off of Teacher Talks podcast show, we would like to share a video with you all that includes our panel of speakers that was on the podcast. Unfortunately, it doesn't include Christina. However, you guys had the pleasure of having her on the panel this evening. But this is a video combined with all of our speakers. Unfortunately, Jolene McKeddy, who was from the Dominican school, was not able to be a part of this, but she was a guest speaker from the Dominican school for deaf children on the fourth episode as we spoke about advancing women and children. So yes, so I would like to share the video with you, and what they did was they spoke about what stood out for them, what they learned, what they thought was beneficial from Teacher Talk. So some little bit of feedback for you all.
Series was something that I thoroughly enjoyed. I was part of the first episode where we spoke about global health and mental well-being. And what I can take away from the experience is just that it's important that we have these types of conversations, as a society, as a school, as a community. And it's through these conversations that we can learn and grow and improve the mental well-being of our learners, of our people in this country. And I think Warda was just phenomenal. She really guided me and supported me through every part of the journey. And I feel honored and privileged to be part of this.
Hello, I'm Luke. I was one of the first teachers on Teacher Talks. I found Teacher Talks to be a really comfortable and enjoyable event. It was put together really well, and since being on it, having watched most of the others, it's really informative, and it's just great to see teachers being given a platform to talk about the amazing work that they do. So well done, Warda and the whole team. Thanks for letting me join you.
Hi Warda, thank you so much for letting me be part of your Teacher Talk series. It was really informative and I'm so proud to have been part of it. My favorite thing about it was how diverse your panel was and how you educated people on such important topics. Thank you so much to you and PeacJam.
Has DJ Dominican School for Deaf Children. I want to give feedback on episode 4. What I've learned is that we as women are so powerful, and if we work together, we can achieve much more. And that we need to start rooting for each other and to celebrate as women in the successes that we have made in life, and that we are the backbone of our society, of our generation, and that we need to stand up for ourselves. And I must say, Warda, you are a great presenter, and your spirit, your liveliness, just make it so nice to watch the show, and you are so intrigued.
I don't care how cliched it is, the youth are our future. So to examine the topic of racism and hate within the context of education is critically important. Thank you, Warda, for creating a space where we could promote thinking around this. And your presentation was thought-provoking and of value, I believe. Thank you.
Good morning, Warda and the team at PeacJam. Thank you for the opportunity to have this discussion and to participate in it. It is an essential topic for our learners, and it's important that they feel comfortable talking about things that they may find difficult talking about at home or with friends. About at home or with friends. And I wish you all the best for the future, and know that it must make a difference having these discussions. Thank you.
And that's it up, guys. Thank you so very much. So that was all of our speakers. And just a final reminder to make sure that those who aren't following us go and follow us on our social pages. So on Facebook, we are PeacJam South Africa, and on Instagram, we are at PeacJam SA, and then as well as Mentoring Peace Builders South Africa NPC on Facebook, and at Mentoring Peace Builders SA on Instagram. So once again, calling all educators, be it teacher advisors, principals, or even student teachers. As you may have seen, our previous events, our workshops, our conferences, and facilitating that we have had the opportunity of creating, as I mentioned, and I think I've mentioned it, or throughout the episodes, that we have is the amazing award-winning program, which we'd be absolutely delighted to share with you and have you implement these different programs accordingly into your schools. How do you go about this, you may ask? So you can reach out to our socials, any of our socials, either Mentoring Peace Builders or PeacJam South Africa, or myself, Warda Petersen, on Facebook, or you can contact me on programs at mentoringpeacebuilders.org. Not just only to take the first step into finding out more information, but also to build sustainable long term working relationships. Once again, thank you to each and everyone who has joined us this evening. I can't say until next time, until next week, because today is the last episode. But just again, thank you to each and every one of you, to the speakers, to our viewers, to the tech team, to PeacJam South Africa for making Teacher Talks a successful podcast show. Thank you so much, and always sending you so much love and light. Peace out.